event of presentation with respect to the annual budget of the Government of India, which is also called as the finance budget. The idea of presentation is that APMH endeavors on various aspects and deliberates on various aspects of direct and indirect tax specifically, and also some aspects of the business side of the budget when it is announced. This time we have seen two budgets. The first one was kind of an interim budget when the government was not sure whether it will continue or not. But this is the budget with quite more confidence in it, wherein the government has got thumping majority and the government has come up full swing and has rolled out its vision for 10 years and also a 5-year vision. And you can also see a lot of transformatory and credible changes which have come in. I would call this government to be very, very creative, with India in its mind, India in top of its mind, farmers in top of its mind, businessmen and entrepreneur at the top of its mind, startups and new businesses at the top of its mind. Amazing budget. We will focus on direct tax more than indirect tax because the indirect tax, which is mainly GST, is guided by the GST Council meetings which happen regularly. And the calls are taken and shots are played only in the GST Council meetings. Although Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, who is the first full-time finance minister of this country, has done some passing remarks on GST. But all the decisions which were taken and discussed about were part of the GST Council discussions before. So nothing major has changed as far as GST is concerned. As far as customs duty is concerned, there are few things in the rate side which have changed to benefit the entrepreneurs of India and the startups of India. So our emphasis will be more on direct tax. We have my partner and senior colleague CA Amit Doshi, who will cover the budget specific on the direct tax. Although he will throw some light on the basic changes of budget so as to give us an idea on what has gone through in the budget. So I will request Mr. Doshi to throw light on the emphasis aspects of the budget and then move to the direct tax provisions and changes. Mr. Doshi, please.
Thank you, Mitesh. Good afternoon to all the participants, and without going into other details, we would straight away start with the budget proper, the matter of today's discussion. Well, friends, the history was created yesterday when the lady finance minister of India, for the first time in our history, has presented the union budget before the parliament. She was beaming with confidence, and probably she has all the attention on her which she stood by. And the best part of the budget this time, probably I have been listening to the budgets for all these years, but the best part was that there were no scheme outlays which were discussed. It was only the achievements of Modi government in last 5 years which was discussed for a change. The fiscal deficit again was contained as announced by the finance minister at 3.3%, which is considered to be very good, though doubts have been raised about the correctness of these figures, which are year after year presented by the finance minister. Be that as it may, we will discuss the provisions which are contained in the Finance Bill number 2 of 2019, which is presented yesterday before the Parliament, and in all probability with the thumping majority that the present government has is likely to be passed. So we move on right now to the basics, and before that probably the long-term goal of Modi version 2, which are set in the Parliament. As discussed by the Finance Minister, 5 trillion economy is by 2025 is what the government is looking at. The past data which were provided gives us the indication that it is possible, and with the kind of confidence that this government is having in achieving that, there should not be any problem. We had the overall economy size of about 1.85 trillion when this government took up in 2014, to which we have already reached 2.7 trillion. So in next years, probably economy, let us hope and let us all work together to make that happen. Next is the assessment which is announced by the government in last two budgets, and they've been trying very hard to implement that. But to my mind, it is still a dream, because what was discussed yesterday, what was announced, was only on paper, and the e-assessment which is to be taken up now without interface with the officers and the taxpayer, it is still a dream, for the reason that only limited scrutiny is to be taken up on these basis. Whenever there are papers or documentations to be filed, discussion to take place, still the officers are calling people, calling the taxpayers, calling the tax practitioners to come and discuss matters with them. This can be possible only when the name of the officer is not disclosed to the taxpayer, and they are debarred from contacting the taxpayer anyway. But the beginning that has been made is very good, and the entire society is happy with what is going on currently. Only thing is that it needs to be pushed up fast. Other than that, what was announced in the major as a major push for infrastructure on different fields like connectivity, new industrial corridors are announced, dedicated freight corridors, and number of other things are announced. So government is really working hard on getting all those infrastructure in place. But when it targets the 5 trillion economy, and what is seen is that in the entire budget there are no reforms on the part of export procedures. There are no benefits given to exporters. And the history says that any country cannot progress without outside support in the form of exports. But looking at the confidence of the government, it looks like that they would have these, they would not have these as a priority in the short term, and they are putting up the infrastructure in place right now, and would go ahead with reforms on export procedures to enable exporter to have the ease of business. And I hope in the years to come, major boost is given to the export. Well, friends, that was as far as the overall goals were concerned. Now we go to the specifics. Anybody, the common man would, whenever budget is presented, common man would think of the rates of taxes. What are the benefits that I have received? Uh, the before we move on to the individual taxes on which people are more interested in discussing, it is corporate tax that we start with, and there are no changes in corporate tax except one place where the smaller companies having turnover of 250 crore so far was given exemption or given the concessional rate of 25% taxes. This limit of 250 crore is sought to be increased to 400 crore rupees. So all the companies which are having turnover or gross receipt up to 400 crore rupees in the financial year 17-18 would get the concessional rate of 25%, and the companies which are having turnover of more than 400 crores would pay taxes at the rate of 30% flat rate. As announced by the Finance Minister yesterday, 99.3% of the companies are getting covered in this 400 crore turnover. So the benefit is derived by most companies, and looking by the provisions which are contained later on for the individual taxes and non-corporate taxes, it appears that government is intending to give more support to corporates rather than on the individuals. So that was as far as corporate tax was concerned. We go to the non-corporate taxes. There also there are absolutely no changes except the negative one in against the SSCs, wherein the surcharge has been increased on different slabs. As we all know, we are having the slab-wise tax structure, wherein you don't pay any taxes up to 2.5 lakhs rupees, and up to 5 lakhs rupees you pay only 5%. And whenever you have income up to 5 lakhs rupees, you get deduction or the rebate under section 89 for 87 and 89 for taxes, and you don't pay any taxes. The moment your income crosses 5 lakhs rupees, you start paying taxes on the entire amount less 2 lakh 50,000. 250 to 10 lakhs rupees, we pay 20% tax, and above 10 lakhs rupees, the slab rate is 30%. This continues to remain in force without any change. The only change that is sought to be achieved is that surcharge which are applicable on the higher income slabs, which currently is up to 50 lakhs rupees, there was no surcharge. So entire income from 10 lakhs to 50 lakhs was getting taxed at 30% rate of tax. And above 50 lakhs rupees to 1 crore rupees, there was a surcharge of 10%. This continues to remain so even currently. And there is one more slab which is created, that is from 1 crore to 2 crore. Whenever any person has income, taxable income of between 1 crore and 2 crore rupees, there was a surcharge of 15%. Anything above 1 crore was taxed at 30% plus surcharge of 15% currently. Now that is sought to be changed for the slab of 2 to 5 crore rupees, wherein from 1 to 2 crore rupees, 15% surcharge would be continued to be levied, and between 2 to 5 crore rupees, there will be surcharge of 25%. So effectively, whatever tax that comes on your total income, which is calculated slab wise, as discussed by us just now, about 2.5 lakhs rupees no tax, 2.5 to 5 lakhs 10% tax, 5 to 10 lakhs 20% tax, and whatever income is left out after 10 lakh rupees, that is taxed at 30%. So there is a surcharge of 15% on the taxes which are payable between 1 to 2 crore rupees, and whenever income is more than 2 crore rupees but less than 5 crore rupees, it is 25%. And when the total income is above 5 crore rupees, the surcharge is at the rate of 37% of the taxes payable. So though the arithmetic looks bit difficult, but we arrive at some final figures on what is the effective rate of taxes. So if you look at the chart, which is there on the screen, so up to 50 lakhs rupees, there is no change at all. There is no increase of taxes. From 50 lakhs to 1 crore rupees also, it continues to remain the same. 1 to 2 crore rupees also, it continues to remain the same. The moment income increases beyond 2 crore rupees, the effective rate of tax would become 39% because of the proposed increase in surcharge. So effectively, a person having income between 2 to 5 crore rupees would pay 3% more taxes than what was paid under the current regime. And the first affected are the SSCs having income of more than 5 crore rupees. They are getting a hit of 7% on the income. So effective rate for them would become 42.74%, though it is popularly said that the highest slab rate of income tax in India is 30%, but effectively he would pay 42.74%, and the person having income between 2 to 5 crore would pay 39% of the income as taxes. Of course, the as compared to other nations, other European nations, maybe Australia, South Africa, Germany, where the rate of taxes are even higher than this. But considering the lack of social security that we have, this tax, of course, is on a very high side. But that is what government thinks that is required to be done, and they have done it. So we have no choice but to accept it. So these are on the basics about the rates of taxes. Do anybody have any questions on this? We can have this session as interactive session. So I believe everyone has understood it in proper perspective. We go ahead to the next one.
One thing, Mr. Doshi,
Yes.
you see, I am VV Anand speaking, insolvency
Mr.
professional. Yeah.
Yes.
See, क्या है, there is room actually for, there was one view. If you listen even to people like
Right. Go ahead. Hello, Mr. Anand, are you there? For him.
sorry, yeah. So
Okay.
what has happened is that there is a view that there is room for increasing the tax rates comparable to what it is there in Europe and USA and all that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Can you respond to that?
Yeah, I refer to that, and again, with the lack of social security that we have, I think the comparison would not be apt for us to do it. With the kind of infrastructure that we are provided, with the kind of social security that we have, it is not possible for us to, compare directly with those economies. Yes, Mr. Anand, are you there or you're lost?
I
Hello?
appreciate what you say, but
Yeah,
those who are having income of more than 5 crore and 10 crore,
right.
for them, social security is not an issue. You see, they can, we can milk the, see, he can squeeze the rich. Okay.
Yeah, that is fine. The standard of living in India probably would allow them to save enough to, contribute something towards the society. I at some point of time I would agree with you, but then again they also look for social security. Okay, fine. If I have income for a couple of years and thereafter if I am not having any income, then would government give me any support in maybe in the form of some recognition, some concessions later on when income is not there? There may not be any cash support, but then there should be something to elevate them to a position where they would also feel that they should be contributing to the economy or to
Okay,
the
sir.
nation.
Okay, sir.
Thanks for your views.